The steep, narrow canyons and rocky peaks of New Zealand's rugged Southern Alps have provided a home to some of the world's most famous and challenging trophy animals. Tackling a species on foot like the Himalayan Tahr takes this high country adventure to a whole new level.
Standing in front of this old caboose reminds me how time goes by really fast. What's on your bucket list? Well, New Zealand was on my bucket list for Tahr, and this week we're going to New Zealand for Tahr with my good friend Simon Nash. A lot of walking, a lot of glass, and what a beautiful country. So sit back, enjoy another Bob Folkrad's hunting adventure.
Victor Dodge, Bass Pro Shops, Alamositos Ranch, and Martin Archery present Bob Folkrad's Hunting Adventures. Seven continents, 80 species, a 5-year quest in the making. High adventure, dangerous game, real-world training tips. This is Bob Folkrad's Hunting Adventures.
And this week we're going to New Zealand to hunt with my friend Simon Nash for Tahr. What an absolutely fantastic animal. A lot of footwork, a lot of beautiful mountains, great people. This is some exciting adventure right here. Don't go away, folks.
Bob's first stop on his first ever New Zealand adventure will be the South Island city of Christchurch. This is New Zealand's oldest city and an excellent example of the Kiwi lifestyle.
It's a beautiful mountain setting. Christchurch is a beautiful city by itself, and it shows by the respect that the people have for it. You don't see a lot of litter, a lot of trash. It's a modern city like a lot of the cities are, but I think what impressed me the most was how friendly the people was and how clean the cities were.
After a night in historic Christchurch, Bob and Simon head off to the mountain lodge that will serve as their base.
Well, we made it.
That's a pretty drive, isn't it?
It is pretty.
I'll tell you what. That's some of the hills we hunt up there?
Yep, that's Tahr country. Tahr and chamois. Stags are in more of this lower, rolly country.
Got some snow on top, huh?
Yeah, she's slowly melting now. It was probably a week ago now.
All right, good deal. What a pretty drive that was. All right. Geez, that's gonna be a hard see, huh? I have to look out through that window and see that mountaintop every day.
No, she's pretty comfortable.
A Himalayan Tahr, with its golden mane and full winter coat, is truly a sight to behold. These thick-bodied mountain goats, distantly related to the Rocky Mountain species, are perfectly at home amidst New Zealand's rugged Southern Alps.
Why a Tahr hunt? Because it's there, and I can. I love adventure hunts. I've never been to New Zealand, so when you start looking around and say, geez, what can I hunt in New Zealand? And you see these pictures of these animals, I mean, it's right up on the list, high adventure hunt.
About 100 years ago, Tahr were brought over for sporting purposes, and the original release was by Mount Cook, and I think that there was about 9 animals released. And they bred rapidly. Now there's thousands and thousands of Tahr. They're from the Himalayas, and you can still see them over there, but not in the huge numbers that we can look at them here. We can hunt them through March, April, May, June, July, August, even in September and October. To me, the best time is May, June, because they're in the rut. So the last half of May, first half of June, I think is the best time, because they've got extremely blonde hair, the hair's still long, they're rutting, they're just great to watch at that time of year.
You know, I've had people describe, and I've you know, New Zealand, The Lord of the Rings was filmed in New Zealand, and you know, I've seen different hunting shows and different hunting articles, and it's some place that I've always wanted to go just for the sheer beauty of it. And then to think we're going to go over here in a Tahr, which is you know, a mountain animal. It's like hunting a sheep, you know, whether it's dull sheep or stone or bighorn. It lives up in the mountains, and the long hair onto him, and you know, he's got a little horn, you know 11, 12, 13 inches horns, but it's the way that the long hair on, and that's why we decided to come over in the time of year that we did, was because the colder it is, the snow-capped mountains, of course the long hair grows, and it just makes them a fantastic animal to be able to hunt that time of year. So going to New Zealand was, for the Tahr, was part of it, but seeing the sheer beauty that I've heard so many years about, I couldn't wait to lay my eyes on it.
I think the Tahr hunt in New Zealand would probably be one of the most underestimated and underrated hunts in the South Pacific. Anybody that comes to hunt a Tahr, they don't know a whole lot about him, but when they get on the hill, they really are taken back by the sight of a Tahr on the hill. He's so impressive. It's just amazing to stand there and watch him, and pretty much anybody that comes and hunts them just falls in love with the Tahr and definitely want to come back and do it again. It's an amazing experience.
Bob Folkrod's Hunting Adventures is brought to you by these fine sponsors: Vortex, Kinatrek, Kufaru, and Buck Fever Synthetics.
For the love of mud, gravel, and trail dust. For the love of farm roads, dirt roads, and no roads. For the love of hunting, fishing, and working the land. For the love of conservation, preservation, and restoration. Introducing Tracker off-road vehicles, designed and built on American soil for kicking up American soil. Tracker Off-Road, built for love of country.
Closed captioning has been provided by Swarovski Optic.
These mountains provide some of the most difficult free-range hunting in the world. But the challenges of a hunt like this start before you even leave for the airport. Here's Bob with a few tips on how to pack for a trip where anything can happen.
Well, if you're as concerned as I am of traveling, especially on airlines today, and they allow you 50 pounds, you say, how do I pack for that? Especially in the fall when you don't know whether it's going to be raining, or is it going to be snowing, sleet, and hail. And it's all about layering up and layering down. I'm going to start out with something like an Enduro skin. Basically, it's a thin material, and if it's going to get a little colder, I'm going to put something like the XPS Polartec on. And guess what? This is something I never leave without. This is always in my pack. It's Pack Light Gore-Tex rain suit. And if it's really, really cold out and the weather's really miserable, I'm going to go to my extreme element gear. You've watched me wear that into Russia to almost all kinds of different hunts. If I'm on the back of a horse, I'll roll it up, put it on the back of the horse. But these two jackets right here, I never leave home without. And by layering up and layering down, I can stay within that 50 pounds.
Today's gearbox includes Redhead Extreme Elements parka and pants, Browning A-Bolt 300 Win Mag, Winchester Nosler Ballistic Tip Ammo, Sims TruGlow Limb Saver Recoil Pad, and XPS Power Dry Thermals.
After touching down in Auckland and finally landing for good in Christchurch, Bob's trip through New Zealand continued by vehicle, and he has now arrived at Kiwi Safari's Sherwood Lodge.
Long blonde hair, pretty blonde.
With their gear stowed, Bob and Simon head out to do some scouting.
You know, rating this Tahr, I rate him up there with, you know, the dull sheep, the bighorns, the stone. You know, I'm fortunate enough to take all the sheep, and this rate's right up there with it. I mean, when you're sitting at the bottom or the bottom and the top, and there's one thing about these Tahr, is you got to walk up the hills and down the hills. Now, you know, I've seen TV shows where they've used helicopters and they fly people around, and that's quite accepted in New Zealand. And in this case, what really made me, you know, this hunt appealing to me was the fair chase that Simon had described to me when I was hunting with him last year in Australia for the water buffalo. He says, not all people have to hunt the Tahr that way. He said, we got a fair chase Tahr hunt. And he says, and I'll guarantee you, it's pretty physical, it's pretty demanding when you walk up some of these hills. And I found that what really, I guess, took me back was they have these great big grass clumps, and you just can't, like walking up a shale slide or, you know, rocks or whatever, you're trying to step in between these grassy clumps, and they're steep, and if you're not careful, you'll slip and slide. You know, so the physical challenge on the Tahr was everything I expected it to be. You know, looking at the pictures of these high mountains and snow-capped. Anytime you get a snow-capped mountain and there's snow-capped, there's a reason for that. The elevation's up there. And the Tahr certainly didn't disappoint me. It was a high adventure hunt, and I like those high adventure hunts.
When you see a big bull, you know, some people will be like, oh, well, there's a Tahr, and it'll be a nanny. And then all of a sudden a bull will appear and they'll just be like, wow. The difference in body size between a nanny and a bull is about 3-4 times. Probably 75% of the trophy is in that big blonde mane, that big long hair with the big, almost jet black back half and a big fluffy blonde front half. And then usually a big mane will come with quality horns. So the difference between big horns, monster horns, is about 1 inch. So if you can get a combination of that big blonde hair and horns, it's, yeah, I'd shoot hair over horns any day.
Well, anytime I hunted sheep, you know, and like I say, when you look at a snow-capped mountain and it's not snowing at the bottom, there's going to tell you there's a little elevation difference there. And when you look up and you have to climb it, be in the best shape you can be. You know, if I'm fortunate, I live on a mountain, I kind of walk off from it and back up every day trying to get myself in shape. And if you can't do that, then go to the gym. If you live in an apartment, climb the stairs, take the stairs back down, you know, try to lose a little bit of weight, because it sure makes the hunt go a lot better for you when you actually get there.
Transportation for all of Bob Folkrod's hunting adventures is provided by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Welcome to another Bob Folkrod's hunting adventure. I'm in Springfield, Missouri at Wonders of Wildlife. And then one thing about going through the Wonders of Wildlife, every place that you go, you can touch a screen, touch the animal. You're going to learn about the animal. You're going to learn the history of it, where it lives, and some of the conservation efforts that we do to continue to support this animal, not only the sheep, but every single animal that we hunt. My hat's off to Johnny Morse. He's a modern day Teddy Roosevelt. Fantastic job putting the Wonders of Wildlife so people all over the world can enjoy this as much as I do. Thank you. think you'd be in the same location?
I don't think he would have moved too far.
Do they, are they nocturnal? When they bed down at night, do they stay bedded down, or do they get up and feed around at night?
I think they'd probably be, the full moon's definitely gone now, and I think they'd be pretty stationary through the night.
So hopefully they'll be in the same area.
Yeah, both groups of tahr that we spotted yesterday should be right there. I think might even be more bulls come out of the big canyon out to where all the nannies were.
Well, man, one thing about this, you know, compared to taking horses, is we got a truck to go up these windy roads and across the creeks and the valleys and the rivers below. Like going to grandma's house, I guess, you know, but I mean, just riding through the countryside is absolutely beautiful. And of course, you're in anticipation, looking up hills and down hills and looking for these tahr. You know, I've seen a lot of people where they use helicopters and you know, they take people to the top of the mountain and it's accepted over here to shoot out of a helicopter. You know, in my obsession quest and all the animals, I decided to, you know, stay out of the helicopter. I wanted to do it on foot. I didn't want anybody to be able to take anything away from any of the other animals I shot. Whether it's the sheep or Marco Polos, we had the same opportunity for Marco Polo where they could have flew us to the top of the mountain, used the helicopter. I think you miss out on a big part of the adventure that way. It's a challenge to get to the top. You know, you're breathing hard, you're heavy, you know, your lungs are pumping, your heart's beating. And I don't know, it just makes me appreciate it a lot more when I know I had to physically hunt for this animal hard. And I like that challenge of it.
To do it on foot and watch them doing their natural thing, walking around on the mountain, feeding with their hair fluffed up, and just to watch them truly free range on foot versus a helicopter, for me, is the ultimate. New Zealand's renowned by anybody that's hunted here for 5 minutes ago it was sunny, 5 minutes time it's foggy, raining, mist, can't see a thing. Wake up in the morning and bright blue sky, can be looking like a perfect day. Come lunchtime, could be total whiteout, fog, can't see a thing.
You know, I leave Pennsylvania, it's summertime over there, they're mowing grass, you know, lilacs have come and gone, and you get on an airplane and fly over here and all of a sudden it's wintertime. So how do you prepare for that? It's like any time you're going to go hunt in the fall for anything, whether it's elk. I mean, you have no idea what the elk is going to be. You could be in shirt sleeve or you could be with a big winter jacket on. So the experience has taught me what to pack and how to pack for those hunts. I started out with an Endura skin next to my skin with a Polar Tech on, and I put a windstopper shirt on, maybe a windstopper sweater. You know, I'll layer up, you know, I've got the Gore-Tex Pack Light rain suit, you know, if I got up in the elevations where I'm going to set and blast for a little bit. You know, we was walking and hiking most of the time, so in doing that, you'll work up a sweat. You want to be able to take stuff off and put stuff back on again. Especially when you hike up a mountain and there's, you know, a couple thousand feet in difference in elevation. When you set back down, you're going to start to cool off, you're going to start to get cold. You got to carry that stuff, so you want to be able to pull stuff out of the bag, put it on, and stop that wind from going through to keep it comfortable. So I guess, you know, hunting sheep in, you know, North America has taught me how to, you know, prepare for this hunt over here. And I wasn't disappointed. I was comfortable the whole time.
The Deal of the Week is brought to you by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Check them out at victorcdjr.com.
You all know I get my trucks at Victor Chevrolet, but when it comes to my wife's vehicle, we always shop at Victor, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. I trust them. You should too.
Introducing a boat built on tradition. Delivering a lifetime of fishing adventures. Inspiring the next generation. A boat, motor, and trailer package for everyone. The Bass Tracker Classic. The tradition continues. See it at your nearest Tracker Boats dealer.
Going around, just keep looking into all these tops. At the bottom of that shingle there's usually a whole bunch of them, so. I'll just stop here and we'll just sneak down this gut, stay out of sight and just sort of edge our way over until we can see them all. Put the scope over them so we can find the big one.
Over across, we could see some tar, and we got the spotting scopes out and put onto them, and I'm not sure, but I think they was the ones that we left the night before, and there was one pretty good tar in there, and the rut is just finishing, but it's still going on.
Hunting tar in New Zealand when they still have their winter coats requires serious mountain gear and strong, waterproof boots.
And so we get in there and we drop down over this hill and we start cutting kitty corner, trying to keep the, you know, the mountainside in between us where they can't see us, and the wind is right. We got everything going into us. And we come up over the edge and we got right in on top of them. And they busted us.
Don't worry about it. Okay. They spotted us.
They make some funny little noise, and you know, and it wasn't the bull tar that busted us, it was a cow, like in a lot of cases, and off they ran, and they went up over the hill. And Simon thought, well, let's let them settle down a little bit, get regrouped, and just go that way. He says, we kept looking, we didn't see them go over the next mountain, so he said, maybe they're in that valley. So we got over in there, and we kept going and going, and geez, I don't know, it was quite a hike over there to where we had last seen them. We was kind of looking up the hill, like maybe they went up that, and Simon went a little bit further, and we spotted them down in. They was just over the ridge. We kept sliding down, and trying to get in the range. And we finally got up there where they was, and he's kind of calm. He's chasing these cows around, and we sat in there, and it was a bad angle. Then the shot didn't present itself, and there was so much grass that I had to find a little bit higher. Had to bring myself up a little bit. Finally, I got those shooting sticks there, and I'm a little bit in anticipation, a little bit nervous, but finally, it's going to happen. I'm calmed down now. I range find it. I know exactly. All I got to do now is wait for the shot.
Here we go, Charlie.
Finally turned sideways, and it gave me the right shot, and boom, and the gun went off, and I lost him in the recoil. Simon was watching him, and there was a couple other little bull tar in there. Boy, are you sure he's down? And we sat there and waited, and the other bull tar was going off. And
which one is he? He went down. Yeah, he went down. He's off to the left.
Knocked him, huh?
Got him good.
Yeah. Until you can put your hands on him, you're really not sure. We walked down over there, and I mean, you got a lot of grass, and these things fall in the grass. It's pretty hard, and I know all these things are going through my mind. I know I got a good shot, but until you actually put your hands onto him, we walked up over there, and there's my tar.
Here he is.
And I mean, I was full of anticipation. I mean, the pictures are fantastic. We got this long hair onto him. Measured him out, I guess he was 13-inch horns, which didn't mean anything to me. But the Simon says that's a big one. He said that's like shooting a 180 whitetail. That's a nice Tahr. Was that gorgeous or what?
It's a pretty bull. He's got a big blonde streak down his back. Big long tips. He's had a good life.
I can't believe the way their tongue comes out, you know, like a big old whitetail.
Yeah.
So, man, he just...
And that hair fluffs up. All their horn disappears into it. Huge hair.
I'll tell you what, I'm always talking about adventures. You know, I like hunting sheep. I like doing adventure stuff. When you look around us, it doesn't get much more adventure than that, does it?
Nah, this is it.
I'll tell you, what a fantastic animal. What a great adventure being in New Zealand. I appreciate it again, man.
We got him.
Thank you kindly.
Not a problem.
For help with all of your hunt booking needs, contact J&M Safaris at jnmsafaris.com. After your successful hunt of a lifetime, contact Wes Good at kanadistudio.com for the finest taxidermy in the business. Be sure to follow Bob and all his adventures at bobfolkrod.com/TV and facebook.com/bfolkrod. And don't forget to hit the like button.